When my son said, "Mama, this is the woman I'm going to marry," something inside me went cold. She was standing in my doorway holding a peach pie, smiling softly, polite, graceful, almost rehearsed. But I knew her. Not from church. Not from the neighborhood. From a courtroom. And she had once nearly destroyed my career. I didn't say a word. Because mothers don't panic in front of their children. We observe. 5 years ago, I sat at a defense table while my reputation was being picked apart piece by piece. I had worked over 2 decades in compliance at a financial firm. I believed in doing things by the book. I believed in integrity. Then came the fraud investigation.
Million missing.
And one former junior analyst testified that she had raised concerns that were ignored. Her name was Vanessa Brooks, the same woman now standing in my living room holding my son's hand. Her testimony back then didn't land me in prison. Eventually, the truth came out. The fraud had nothing to do with my department. I was cleared. But the damage? The whispers. The suspension. The humiliation of seeing my name crawl across the bottom of the evening news. That damage doesn't just disappear. So when Malik smiled and said, "We're engaged," I felt the room tilt slightly. Vanessa met my eyes. And for a split second, I saw recognition. She knew exactly who I was. But she didn't say it. Neither did I. Over the next few weeks, I watched quietly. She was respectful.
Calm.
Always measured. She brought flowers when she visited. Asked about my health. Complimented my cooking. But there was something too careful about her. Like someone playing a role. I went back to those old court transcripts one evening. I read her testimony again. Line by line. Her wording had been specific. Controlled. Almost guided. Back then, I had assumed she spoke freely. Now I wondered if she had been pushed. So, I did something I hadn't done in years. I called an old colleague who had remained neutral during the investigation. I asked one question. "Do you remember who coached the junior analysts before they testified?" There was silence on the other end. Then he sighed. "You don't know?" "Know what?" He lowered his voice. The prosecution pressured several of them. They were told they could be implicated if they didn't cooperate. Some of them were scared. My stomach tightened. "Vanessa?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "Especially her. She was young. They cornered her." That night, I didn't sleep. Because if she had been pressured, then maybe she hadn't betrayed me at all. Maybe she had been surviving. Still, she had never reached out. Never apologized. Never clarified. Until the wedding invitation arrived. Cream-colored envelope. Elegant script. I held it for a long time before calling her. Not Malik. Her. We met at a quiet cafe the next afternoon. The air smelled like roasted coffee beans and cinnamon. She looked nervous. I didn't waste time. "You remember that courtroom?" I said calmly. Her eyes filled immediately. "Yes," she whispered. "Why now?" I asked. "Why my son?" She shook her head quickly. "I didn't know he was your son when we met."
I swear.
"I met him at a cybersecurity conference. I didn't even know your last name until our 3rd date." I studied her face. There was no calculation there. Only shame. "They told me I could be charged," she continued, voice trembling. "I was 24. They said if I didn't cooperate, I'd lose everything. I was terrified. I never meant to hurt you." I let her words settle between us. "You never contacted me," I said. "I wanted to," she replied. "But after the case ended, I left town out of guilt. When I realized Malik was your son, I almost ended it. But I love him." There it was. Not ambition. Not revenge. Love. I watched her wipe her tears with a napkin, hands shaking slightly. For the first time, I didn't see the witness who pointed at me in court. I saw a frightened young woman who had been manipulated by a system bigger than both of us. "I don't want to start a marriage with secrets," she said quietly. "If you don't approve, I'll understand." I took a slow breath. Bitterness is heavy. And I had carried mine for 5 years. But I also knew what it felt like to be judged publicly. To be cornered. To fight for your name. "I won't punish you for surviving," I said gently. But honesty matters in this family. She nodded through tears. On their wedding day, when she walked down the aisle, she looked at me before she reached Malik. Not with fear, but gratitude. And I nodded back. Because sometimes the truth isn't about revenge. It's about release. I almost let my past steal my son's future. And that would have been the real tragedy. Tell me something. If you were in my place, would you have forgiven her? Let me know in the comments. And if you believe family is complicated but worth fighting for, don't forget to subscribe.